All right. Commissioner Chartier. You're muted, but I saw you say present.
Present.
Cummins.
Here.
Davis.
Here.
Miave. Okay. Is here. Newton.
Here.
Here.
And Soriano. I see Greg. All right. Six commissioners present.
Thank you, Gabe.
Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and start with our regularly scheduled agenda. So first item is business from the public. It looks like we have several members from the public. Do we have anyone that wanted to bring anything to the floor?
We do not have anybody who submitted comment prior to noon today. We haven't had anybody officially asked to speak. So I believe everybody who's joining us is here to watch the proceedings.
Perfect. All right. So agenda item number 4, approval of our meeting minutes. That's pages 2 through 8 of our agenda. Gabe?
Yeah, real quick. I just noticed now that Bonnie came in that I accidentally wrote Bonnie Lincoln in the April 27th minutes. So just whomever makes the motion can add that in easily as a correction, and we can correct that.
Okay, would anyone like to make a motion to approve the meeting minutes with the change from Bonnie to Vani?
I move it.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
I'll second.
All right, so we'll go ahead and make those changes, Gabe. Thank you, and get everything approved. So next item on our agenda is scheduled business. So first item is Pride Month kickoff, the March and Rally volunteering. Kim, I was told by Keith that you had signed up, set us up to table.
Yes, so hope it's okay. From the city, the public information or communications officer and myself were talking, and we said the city needs to have a presence, be it staff and hopefully HRC. So because they look like they had minimal tables, I went ahead and grabbed one up. And I know they have limited tables. So if HRC is interested, we would love to share a table with you just so that we can show unity and all represent. So I wanted to see if that works for you all.
I think it sounds fabulous. How does everyone else feel?
That sounds great. I'd love to help you man that.
I believe Pride is at 11 a.m. to 2.
That's what I've seen online. And I reached out on Facebook to say, hey, if you're interested in more volunteers, let us know. I'm more than happy to pass the information along. Haven't gotten any additional volunteer spots or times yet. But as soon as I do, I'll be able to send those out in an email to everybody.
So quick question that I'm now thinking if we're going to be out and about in an official capacity, we need to get everyone here HRC T-shirts and their little name tags.
We have HRC T-shirts and name tags?
We do. I actually have mine. Like, I don't have my name tag, but I also have a T-shirt.
Oh.
So
Very cool.
So I think it would be great for us to have that to, identify us as members of HRC if we're going to be at an event like this. And I actually somehow ended up with 2 T-shirts. So if we're out of T-shirts, I have an extra one.
I can follow up to see where those came from.
Okay. I picked it up from the Parks and Recreation desk in the City Hall. Just another thing that you guys do, apparently. So, okay. So I think that sounds great. Do we have anyone that would like to volunteer? Again, we have to remember quorum. So we cannot have anyone that is over quorum. So if we wanted to break it up into 2 different time slots, we could have up to 4 people or 3, 4. Okay. So maybe we can, does anyone want to sign up to attend? And that I believe is June 26th. All right, so Leslie and Robin would like to attend. I'd be happy to attend as well. Greg, do you want to attend? You're muted. Just hold down your space bar. Okay, there you go. I can't hear you. Might have to connect to audio again. So if you go down to the little microphone, there's a little arrow next to it. If you click on that, you can select a microphone there. It's still, Kim, are you able to unmute him? Okay, you're unmuted.
Hello?
Okay. perfect.
Yeah, you're good.
Did you want to attend at all, Greg?
Hey, Kel? Kel? Can you help me for a sec?
We
Hey,
can hear-
Greg, we can hear you. We can hear you now. Can you hear us?
For a moment, while Commissioner Soriano's doing this, I wanted to mention, Chair Newton, that you didn't actually, there wasn't actually a vote held on the minutes. There was just a move and a second.
Oh, I apologize.
So just wanted to note that.
Okay, should we go ahead and, I apologize. Oh my goodness. Do you want, should we wrap up this part and then go back? Let's do that. Let's wrap up here and then we'll go back to the,
No, it's on you.
All right, sounds good.
okay, thanks, Gabe.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, good, thank you.
Were you interested in attending and tabling for Pride?
Yeah, on the 26th, sure.
Yes. Sure, awesome. And then we can
What
have
time
Miriam.
is that?
So we could break it up into time slots, or we could have folks attend the entire time.
Okay,
So it's from 11 to 2.
okay.
So we could even do like 11 to noon and then 1 to 2, or if folks want to do the whole 4 hours. Juan, I'm not sure if
What-
you're interested, or Miriam.
And when I hear back from Keith, I can send out an email with saying, here are the positions that need to be volunteered for. Since we don't 100% know what those are, the time commitments either.
Okay, so we could have something that's like, maybe I'm imagining some folks manning the table, maybe like 1 or 2 folks manning the table, and then others helping, coordinate and volunteer, like say, hey, here's where folks are going for the walking in the march, and yeah, so that would be great. Thank you, Kim. But everyone hold that in your calendars. I can send out a calendar invite to everyone as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and move back one step. We had a first and a second on the meeting minutes. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, perfect. Thank you, Gabe. I appreciate it. Okay, so the next item is our HRC proposed projects and timelines. This didn't have to be like a super fleshed out timeline, but just like something really rough. I know that Juan, you had an idea, Miriam, you did as well, and as did you, Greg.
Mhm.
Am I forgetting anyone else?
I have a new idea.
Awesome. Do you have a timeline?
I don't have a timeline, but I would like to discuss it at the appropriate time of the meeting with the team assembled.
Okay, maybe we could do that during business from the commission and review timelines now. So,
When you say review timelines, what exactly do you mean?
I just drafted up a very rough timeline for mine. But whatever you have for like a timeline, for like what kind of project proposal timeline. Kim, do we want to go ahead and start with mine, and I can just show you guys kind of like a rough, and
Sure.
it doesn't have to be typed out. If you guys don't have that, we can have it typed out like with the minutes, but I shared mine with Kim so she could share the screen.
Fine. I am trying to get the code verified, so
Okay. And
hang with me for a second.
Greg and Leslie, you guys weren't on earlier, but
Yeah.
like everything, I always exceed deadlines.
Oh,
So 6 weeks early,
congratulations.
we have a little Woodrow Scott.
But you did bake this one a little more than you did Isla, right? All
Yep.
right, good.
Yeah,
He's adorable.
thank you.
Baby's maybe or maybe not first public meeting. So
It is baby's first public meeting, actually. We haven't attended city council yet, surprisingly.
all right. I've got it brought up, so I'm gonna try to make it happen.
Okay.
All right. Can folks see? Yep. Okay.
Okay. So the community education project that I mentioned previously, tabling at the farmer's market, I was thinking we needed like 3 members from the HRC per event. Materials I was drafting out, cabana, I think Kimmy said that the city has one, and I'm assuming the city,
We should. I should be able to figure out something.
and like maybe a table. If not, I have a folding table. And I've already talked to some folks to try to get some other items donated, getting posters, materials, and make a table throw that, or if we have like a City of Albany table throw, or we can make like a cool HRC one, either way. I wanted to prepared interactive presentations, either with, members of the HRC. I also was going to reach out to Brandy Douglas, who heads up a lot of the DEI work at Oregon State, for some guidance, and getting all of our events approved 2 weeks prior to each event. And then the dates I was thinking about just having us go through the summer. I wanted to start with Juneteenth and maybe do a Juneteenth presentation. And these are gonna be very, short and sweet. We don't have people's attention for a long time. Things are just gonna get people to start thinking, and bite-sized lessons. So I was thinking Juneteenth, then doing a lesson on like Albany Pride, and then since it's close to Independence Day, freedom in America, understanding, the levels of freedom here. Also understand July 10th, equity, equality, and justice. July 17th, a lesson on like microaggressions. July 24th, implicit and unconscious bias. July 31st, sexism. Subversive versus overt racism the following week. Ableism on August 14th. August 21st, having understanding privilege. And I wasn't sure for a lesson for the last one, but also these are not all set in stone. If you guys think they should be in like a different order, or we should hit different topics. This is what I'm thinking. We have a fairly simple format, really like, I almost want to like gamify it a little bit, like microaggressions, like having like some pictures, like, do you understand what a microaggression is? Because really, when it comes to, we need to meet a lot of our community members where they're at, and we need to just start educating them in a way that is going to just start moving the needle. And because our goal with this event is to just, introduce new topics, new and introduce, help folks have a new understanding to really help us achieve our goal on the HRC, so we can have a better, safer community for everyone here in Albany, and help us move forward. And this would just really help, I feel, get the wheels turning in people's brains. I'm not sure if you guys watched anything on like the recent school board race. There was a candidate that was running that said, that one of the questions from one of the students at West Albany, they said, what can you tell us what equality and equity is and what the difference is? And they started trying to, and they said, actually, I don't know anything about this. So I'm just going to be quiet. And, that's probably something that a lot of people in Albany feel. Well, I kind of have maybe I think I know what this is, but I don't. And so I'm just gonna be quiet. So I want to help educate. I want us to educate, and help just, yeah. So I think this would be a good way to do that. Do you have any questions or concerns or comments? I think that with these projects, we want to probably vote on where we want to take our time and efforts as well.
I think it's a good list. Suggest addition later or on another. But I think the idea of gamifying it and the idea of coming up with like simple graphics or something that could be a handout or something that could be a takeaway for these individuals to look. Maybe it's just a list of further reading or something too, if people are interested, you know.
Yeah, and I think that we could even have like a additional additional resources that people can check out. You know, they would be able to, you know, like a list of books they could check out at the library or websites they could look at, something like that. But yeah, so this is a project. I know it's kind of, you know, it seems fairly, you know, time, like it's a lot of Saturdays. I'm willing to commit to all of them. I'm sure the other folks have a lot of things going on. I think if we had 3 people there, or we could stagger them, but it's just, I'm thinking just from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. So it would go by fast. So do we want to move on to the next presentation or discussion for topic? I think Greg, you had one, and Juan and Miriam, right?
Before we move on, can I ask if we're going to do this, Steph, are you going to be the person in charge of recruiting volunteers for the table, and then all of the materials that go on the table?
I'll create them.
You rock. Okay.
Or like we can also have a subcommittee that other folks can also help create them. Like I'm happy to, you know, take control and do as much as needed, but I'd love for everyone else to get involved as well.
You think a short video presentation might be helpful? Because I don't claim to be an expert in any of those topics. Do you think that might be, maybe Juan has an idea on maybe a video presentation? You know, I don't know, just a thought.
I'm not sure if that would fit. I think it's a good idea, but I'm not sure how that would work for the being at the sorry, being like in front of the courthouse. Sorry, my brain is going not going as quick right now. Sorry. Just because we'd have power constraints and then volume constraints, and then there's also you know,
Lighting and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, that's all pretty easy.
Ooh.
Okay.
Well, so yeah, but I also want to start talking to people and building relationships.
Sure.
That's another thing. We could do both, or you know, whatever we need to. I'm thinking maybe for some of these, like maybe Juneteenth would be a good one as well to have a short video presentation. Or if we, you know, if there's, so that might be something we could do as well.
Just a thought. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. And Greg, you don't have to be an expert, but we can definitely self-educate and, you know, learn about things as well.
I just, if someone came up to me, you know, I don't claim to be an expert on any of those topics. I'd be relying on you or some materials to have this conversation.
Well, you will learn a lot.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone is an expert, you know. I think we're all just trying to do the best we can and learn as much as we can.
I think one of the things that should be emphasized is that, yes, people may not be experts in it, but we shouldn't take people to task because they may not understand some of these things or have not internalized it yet. I don't think there's any need to talk down to anybody, but very clearly establish that, hey, we're putting this information out there,
Absolutely,
you know, for the benefit of the public, not that we're trying to.
Yeah, we would never, and that's not how we would want to frame it. We'd want to frame it in a very accessible manner that meets people where they're at. And that's why I was also looking at working with Brandy Douglas from Oregon State and making sure we just had materials that were.
Here's an idea. At any of these events, it'd be very easy to record them or make a small of the actual event going on, and then put it up on the City of Albany's Facebook page. Just something so that we get maximum return on the time that we're investing.
I agree. I think it should. I think it'd be awesome if we could have it as like an event on their Facebook page, and maybe ask Matt to do like a little social media post. I'm even happy to make like a piece of content that could go up on up on Facebook and Instagram that could show people, hey, this is happening. So I think it'd be great.
And I think it would show people that we're actually doing something, because you're only going to reach a small subset of people at an actual event via a digital platform.
Yeah, and
Oh,
we could
you
also,
understand. This is your realm as well.
yeah, this is my realm. Yeah. We could also list it, in the newspaper as like an event that's happening. I know a lot of folks check out the newspaper. But yeah, so I think that would be fabulous. Yeah, I know people do still look at their newspaper, right? It drives me, yeah. But yeah, print's not dead. So all right, so next item. Greg, do you want to go next, or Juan?
Sure.
Or Miriam?
Juan, go ahead if you wish. Okay. My idea was kind of the walk, and I was just looking over some possible venues today, and I'm looking at doing a walk that would be probably based at Monty Park, Kim, if that's a possibility. And it would walk to the Albany Community Garden, which is about a mile, and then turn around and then maybe come back to Monty Park. And you know what? That's a really cool undiscovered spot, is that little walkway near the river. And I think it'd be awesome. And we wouldn't have to have any road closures or blocking. Anyways, I was looking at some dates. I don't know, how it wouldn't take a tremendous amount probably to get something like that going. Kim, you could probably disagree with me, but but anyways, I thought that would be, and maybe potentially something with the carousel. I mean, that's a possibility on the way back. Just trying to incorporate, just as many community members as possible, and gosh, it'd be great to have a presence of people getting out of the house with COVID on a sunny summer day. It'd be pretty simple, and hopefully wouldn't cost them a lot. And so instead of walking over the bridges, I thought we'd go under the bridges. So anyways, that's my thought. And it might be too soon, but I was kind of looking at the
I think we lost Greg.
Oh, you're back. Greg, we can't hear you right now.
ways. That's my
Oh,
thought.
now we can. Perfect. Okay.
So yeah, the entire community is welcome. First responders, vets, everyone. And there's even Deluxe Brewing is kind of on that route. So there's also the option of people meeting after. So anyways, that's my thought, and I'm willing to work hard on this project, and even donating funds to get this thing going. But that's my thought, and on the way we can just kind of celebrate Albany, and everyone's welcome. Hispanic community, Miriam, that would be amazing to get a turnout there. So anyways, what do you guys think? Any other thoughts or suggestions?
I'm wondering if we could use it to raise funds for, if we were to do something for, I'm trying to raise funds for something. We could determine something, raise it for something
I
for
also thought that
our message.
potential of having food donations as well for the walk. People that want to come, and we can donate some of the food to fish, or some of the, some food share or something like that. So that would be an option as well.
And maybe school supplies or,
Wonderful. Yes. Or
yeah,
even, you know, yeah, for any type of a homeless situations, we can have some, you know, potentially, there's a lot of options as far as donations. Food donations kind of came to my mind, but anything would work. Blankets, well, I guess summer, probably food might be an option as well. So anyways, that was my thought of an event to bring attention to the HRC. And even having it videoed would be really cool as well, possibly. In interviewing some of the walkers. I mean, there's a lot of things we can reach the community through this.
What date were you potentially proposing?
I don't know if it's too tight, but I was thinking, you know, July's get crazy. I was thinking possibly maybe a Sunday morning, like the 27th of June, if that's too tight.
That would be right next to the Pride. Like
Oh,
Pride is
okay.
26
Well,
and
that's the
then
day after,
27.
huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
what about like a date in September where it's, you know,
You know, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm open to suggestions. This is just open-ended. It would,
yeah, it's still fairly dry in September, but it would give us time to reach out to key community stakeholders. And this might be a
great.
larger scale event.
yeah, I
maybe get,
mean, make it a fun, making it some type of a fundraiser would be amazing. I just don't know, you know, Kim, how that would.
Well, if we do it in September, we could link it to like back to school, collect backpacks for the kids or something like that.
work with
That's
the,
great. Back to school would be a great idea too.
yeah, we
Yeah,
can
I
work
like
with
that.
like Family Tree, you know, like they'll need back to school, you know, supplies and clothing.
I like it.
I'm not sure if GAPS has any needs that they would, you know, for
Probably.
any students that might be in need that they know of. Or if there would be, you know, I know that some organizations also will like fish, you know, and Family Tree also take food.
Yeah, I like the back to school. Like we can, let's see.
Would that be something that we would propose to like one of the school board meetings to have them know that this is something that we would like to do? And maybe in a way collaborate with them and include the district, like the Welcome Center, as you know, entities like that that are already set in the community that could help. So is this something that
Possibly the Albany Chamber of Commerce might have.
Yeah, we could reach out. I think
People do the
yeah.
carousel and the local businesses as well, like Calapooya Brewing and the Deluxe Brewing. There may be some collaboration there.
yeah, I think that we would, it was a great idea. We should get an outline drafted up with a date and items needed. So we can start getting this fully fleshed out. And I believe if we want to do this project as well, maybe have a subcommittee that is working specifically on this as well.
Greg, for a date, if you want to contact Debbie, who was on the email, her contact information, I believe, was on the email I sent to you and Miriam. She is our amazing staff member who handles all of our major event rentals. And so
Okay.
she knows the answers to everything. So she'd be able to help you out as far as dates and anything that we need to be aware of on the city side.
Do you have to, I printed out the, do I have to fill out the paperwork for Monty Park, or is that going to be open?
We're going to go ahead and want to rent that in the shelter as well, just so we don't have anything competing down there. But yeah, she'll be able to talk. It'll be good to talk to her because there might already be some rentals on the books. And so that might help to limit what our weekends could be.
Okay. I was looking at, what about Grandparents' Day, this September 12th? And just invite grandparents. I mean, getting a lot of seniors out there, possibly. I don't know.
That could be a good marketing angle. You know, I wouldn't, we would want to have the event for everyone.
Right, for everyone, but that's kind
But
of
it could be like, hey,
bring your
grandparents, come with your grandkids. It could be like a marketing angle for a campaign.
Right. Yeah, that's a possibility. Okay. Just throwing things out. And
No, I love it. Throw it out, see what sticks. I agree.
okay. So I like the back to school thing. I think that works.
All right, Juan, did you want to go next?
Yeah, so actually, two projects, kind of a short and easy one, and maybe a bigger one. Um, what I would like to do is, uh, how often do we meet up? Like once a month? Is that
Once a month,
okay?
unfortunately.
Once a month. Well, what I would really like to do is to highlight a business or an individual uh, at one of our meetings and maybe interview them and kind of reach out and get to know their story. The Human Relations Commission, I think we need to inject some of that human relations in there. And I think by sitting down and talking with, any of these small businesses and just hearing who they are and their little struggles and humanizing them, and then putting that in a video, presenting it during the meeting, like either before or after, and then having that business kind of like a business highlight on the Facebook page, kind of just, I feel, rolls a very welcoming message to everyone in Albany. And it doesn't have to be a business. It can be an individual who's doing, unrecognized work. I've met with a few people already, and I actually made a video and I sent it to Kim. I emailed it to you. That's yeah. I guess you didn't check that email. That's fine. So that video is specifically for the city councilors. Um, and that was kind of in relation to the food trucks and the ordinances being discussed therein. But what I'm talking about is a little bit different than that. The video I sent you, Kim, was about specifically the food truck ordinances affecting a local business. What I'm talking about is, hey, here is an untold story in Albany. Look at this human doing human things. And once a month, a different a different commissioner would go and talk to somebody that has a story. I volunteer my services to go and record you guys doing an interview, or you can do a Zoom call, whatever it is. I'll help set it up. But once a month, we highlight somebody, business or organization, and make it a feel good story. Because you know what? Yeah, racism sucks. Someone told me go back to Mexico, like on Facebook. Eh, it's water off a duck's back, which is kind of problematic. And anyways, the point being that the HRC can spend a lot of time looking at negative things. I want to, in addition to correcting social wrongs, really bring a bit of positivity to the HRC, and by highlighting people's interesting stories. So that's project one, and that would be a monthly recurring thing where a different commissioner would go and talk to somebody. Uh, we would coordinate. You would contact the person, set up a time and date, let me know. I bring my gear out, record something probably under 3 minutes because people's attention span is short, cut it together, and have it a week ahead of time ready to go. And then it would go up on Facebook, on the Albany Facebook, and yeah, be good. The second bigger thing, and this is something that maybe is a pie in the sky thing, but why not, is to have and it's been mentioned a few times in city council meetings, but have a multinational or festival, right? And I'm thinking maybe like have food trucks and just celebrate really the cultural diversity that is in Albany that a lot of people may not think is there, but I think we should really discuss having something. Remember, we used to have the timber festival, timber fair, right?
Yeah.
Something akin to that. I mean, why not resurrect something like that? It is a big project, but I think it may be worthwhile to look into it. Or people are getting vaccinated. We're moving out of this crisis. Why not give the people of Albany something to look forward to, where we can all come together, have a good time, eat a schnitzel or those elephant ears with powdered sugar, whatever, but really have something that kind of celebrates all the different communities inside of Albany that makes up one big community. But that is I think that might be a multi-year I don't know. I think Steph could probably figure it out in 6 weeks, but for me, that's something that would probably take a lot. It seems to me like a big thing, but if people were able to pull off the Timber Festival, then there is a structure and a groundwork laid there that we can probably take advantage of. Whoever held those things, you can probably contact.
You're muted right now. Or did you mean to mute yourself?
Yeah, I use the spar, but basically, you guys get the gist of it. Let's have a big ass.
I think that would be maybe like a planning out for like maybe next summer. So it would be like a larger event. Also, we're gonna bring back log rolling. My mother-in-law used to live in Albany back in the 70s, and they used to put the logs in the river, and you'd have to at a competition where you had to roll on them or whatever, like stand on them. Which
Yeah, timber industry is a huge part of Albany's culture and identity. Let's celebrate some of that.
Let's throw axes again.
So fun fact,
Yeah, I'm all about throwing axes.
now that if it would be a city event, it falls under city liability. And so we would have to double check to see if fun things as log rolling in the river and axe throwing would be something that we could cover. I know, leave bureaucrats to take all the fun out of things. So sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but we can alter things.
So, and then something to think about with these events is what's going to be pushing us forward as a city with our mission. You know, how are we going to be?
I firmly believe a multicultural
Yeah.
festival that celebrates everyone would definitely be pushing forward the inclusion and the
I was
diversity
just
of
more
everybody.
as we're talking about like log rolling, my joking comment about log rolling and axe throwing, and you know, is that yeah. But
I think that's awesome. And you know what? I have I ever thrown an axe? Debatable, but I've never rolled on a log, you know, but I think that would be something that would be interesting as someone that's like outside of my comfort zone. I would
there's
be interested in learning
actually
that
a
sort of stuff.
course. Side note, there's a course up what is that? The experimental forest for Oregon State's logging team. You can go
the Arboretum. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can go roll on a log. There you go, Juan. I'll take you.
Practice.
Yep.
Yeah, you can record that. That'll be fun. But I really think that if, you know, we fought really hard to establish the commission. Let's fight really hard and do something big. You know, like I want a micro event of highlighting people every month, but then I want a big pie in the sky idea that we can go and say, you know what, this event occurred because the Human Relations Commissions tested their will and bent it into reality. And I would really like something like that to be kind of a legacy of everyone.
On your first event, an idea I have, so I think it'd be great if we had like specific parameters for who we'd be interviewing and why, like, and like the businesses, but also I think it might be great if we had, you know, informational videos that were created for different organizations that help out folks that are within our target demographic here with HRC, or even if it was just like
See, I have to push back a little bit on that. I think anybody that you find of interest in Albany should be able to go in and do something like this. I don't want it to be a target demographic, because you know what, as long as they live in Albany, I think that probably people have compelling stories. For example, and these are people that probably we sit on very different ideological standpoints, but somebody opened up a military surplus store in the city of Albany, right? That's really cool. It's very different than my own beliefs that I hold, but I think that that is a compelling story. What would make somebody want to open up a military surplus store in Albany? And you know what? That's a story that can be told, even if they're not. Everyone's a minority in some way, but I don't think that necessarily someone has to be black, brown, or a POC to have a compelling story. It's nice, right? But I really hope that commissioners pick people that are representative of the humanity in Albany rather than a checkbox.
So there's a lot of intersectionality, so I want to push back on that as well. Like we could have folks that are, you know, on varying spectrums with disabilities, or varying spectrums of ages, or, you know, really like seeing what Albany is like. But so something I was thinking would be like just to be able to easily highlight the resources that are available for folks here, for everyone in Albany, you know. And it's or even if it's, you know, someone doesn't know, I'm just we were talking about it and I'm a little tired. Sorry. Fish, like if like people didn't know about fish, or if people didn't know about why am I now spacing with Jeff Blackford's they're opening up and then,
Chance?
there we go. Thank you. If people don't know like who Chance serves, or how, like what they do, if we're
Sure.
with a
And each commissioner can
so-
pick somebody, whoever it is. And and whoever you pick, I'll bring out there, we'll shoot and we'll edit and we'll put it up.
that
So
sounds good.
each commissioner has a choice. And we just go out there and do it. Like
Okay. And maybe, so you'd want to do this every month starting,
now. Yeah.
I was thinking, so if we, so I just, because I'm trying to figure out like our bandwidth and stuff. I think we'll have to vote and determine what we want to do. But I was thinking if we did this more like in the fall, winter, because then we could interview folks.
So
And
why not now? I don't
I'm just
understand.
trying to think like if we have a walk that we're planning and other events, trying to figure out when we would be able to resource everything. So that's something I'm it can be a greater discussion as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm already interviewing people. I'll put it together and we'll put it up on the Facebook.
Okay, and then Miriam, did you have one? I think that yours was also multicultural event, right?
Yeah, mine was the multicultural festival.
Okay.
I don't have a time frame, to be honest with you. I've been kind of busy with things. This is something that's going to take some planning. I'm thinking the beginning maybe of next year. So I'm thinking that far, just because with COVID and everything, I know right now if you're vaccinated, you can, you know, the CDC indicates you don't have to wear a mask as long as you're vaccinated. So to just be in that safe parameter, I would like to wait till next year for my event that I would like to do. So I'm thinking maybe next spring. That gives us time to see where things are going, and really then start planning. So that's kind of where my thoughts are on that, just on that. So I don't know if that's okay. Just because we are starting to do things right now, I feel that mine's a little big, and to be in contact with people and preparing, planning, that's gonna take some time. So I'm shooting for spring of 2022. Yeah, we're in 21. It's like, oh, I don't even know what year we're in.
I think that sounds great. And it sounds very similar to Juan's idea as well. I think that we could probably meld those together, right?
Yeah, there's the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Miriam will probably be
Yeah.
better at connecting with people though.
I don't know.
Okay, and then do we want to actually, Robin, do you want to go ahead and propose your idea now, and then we could discuss on if there's what we want to focus on and like a kind of realistic timeline?
Yeah, thank you. This has really just been something I've been kicking around for a day or so in my head, but I think it's coalesced in kind of a vision, and one of those things could be utilizing that to be determined space at the market. But we all know we're very fortunate to live in a state that has extremely high voter turnout because we vote by mail. As a matter of fact, we just increased access for the voters by allowing ballots to be postmarked on election day. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. Of course, we know that that's not the case nationwide. I believe relationships amongst citizens are dependent on a functioning democracy, and a functioning democracy that's representative. And it starts at the local level. And I've been frustrated in that, I'm sure many people are frustrated in Oregon because, most of our local elected officials speak the language that encourages democracy and participative government, and how do we at a local level encourage that? And so my idea revolves around promoting education to the public about voting rights, how fragile democracy is, encouraging voter turnout, encouraging things like I don't know if this has been done, but a survey to the citizens about the government in general, their participation in the elections, the voter pamphlets. Do they feel like we're getting qualified candidates put forward for all the, what's the difference? I don't even know the difference between the electorate participation at, let's say, voting for a representative as opposed to voting for a city councilman, and just to try to get do whatever we can with the limited resources and attention we can have to have Albany be a place that speaks democracy, and lastly, to have some way for our elected officials in the city to go on record to say that they support these sorts of efforts for voter participation, voter access, and those types of things. Does that make any sense?
It does make sense. I'm worried about the city council and how they would react to this kind of activity.
Okay. Is it within our charter?
Kim, do you think this activity would fall within our charter?
I need to look into it. And I'll need to also double check with in talking about encouraging voter registration and stuff like that. I need to figure out what we're as a city organization and as a city affiliate group are able to have in that. But I can definitely look into all that by the next time. I just don't want to I don't want to say anything incorrect, but I've been taking notes, so I've got it.
Okay. Any other thoughts on that? Okay.
I have a question right here. Is there like a specific action or event or like I hear the heart behind it, but I'm trying to think of something more tactile.
Right. So I would envision some education going on at a tabletop. I would envision any time that the city has a event or the city government interfaces with the electorate, that they have some educational materials about the importance of and indeed, again, how fragile the democracy is at a national level as well as a local level. And I think the city has a long history, all cities have a long history in general of reacting to national and international challenges around those I should say national and local challenges around those things. So it's primarily a citizen education, a language on websites, and again, asking our elected officials to stand up and be counted with their votes on the matter.
So to drill down a little bit, you're proposing going to various elected officials or possibly or candidates for an elected position and asking them to go on record as far as do they support democracy or
no? It's not. Do they support increasing voter access, increasing there's a lot of positions on every ballot in the state and that are increasing the supply of candidates available for the population to vote on and for various positions. There's a lot of positions that are run unopposed, that sort of thing. it's really about participating in democracy. Just is there some, I'd have to brand it, like, again, I've been just thinking about this for the day. You'd have to brand it into something, but well, how would you go out and market that? I don't really know for sure, but I can coalesce more thought around it and see what y'all think.
Well, the one connection that I was thinking about is I took a class like a long time ago. And one of the connections between elections and, voting with diversity is that the jury pool is, more representative when we have people who are registered to vote and et cetera. So that might be one, point of connection for our charter.
That would be a good thought.
One
There's
thing I was
also-
thinking too, Robin, on that, I was like, so I became a US citizen by taking the naturalized test. What could be fun and saying, how much of the US history do you know? If individuals who are naturalized, like myself, had to study for this test, and believe me, I know more about this country than some individuals that were born here. So that would be like a fun, how well do you know your democracy?
Like, do you know democracy more than a fifth grader? Like, that
Yeah,
show.
yeah, something like that. Yeah, make it fun, but be like, yeah, instead of being smarter than a fifth grader, like how I don't know. I just thought it was, as you were talking, Robin, that's what I thought in my head was like
civics education.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it's fun.
Yeah. I think that's a great. That would be a great exercise towards that end. Yeah.
So side note, I'm not sure you guys follow the state legislature, but the state legislature just passed in the House that civil education is now like, that is, you have to take that class. It's required for to graduate, which I think is very important.
And I just wanted to add one thing, again, these are in various parts of the country, the local governments are trying to drive legislation that would govern the school boards teaching of history based on actual critical race sorts of activities. So the local governments are having legislation that overrides school board activities as well. So I would love to, that's just a side event, but yeah, civics education would be a great way to start.
Okay, so let's go ahead, and if there's anything else, does anyone else have anything else they'd like to bring to the floor for these proposed plans? So I think that we should move forward with, a discussion on, we need to probably vote or decide what are we going to be putting our efforts for and our energies, and think critically about, how would each of these projects, move the needle, and where can we have the largest impact? So we have 4 projects. I think, do we want to move the other one for next year? The multicultural festival, move that to like for next year to plan for that.
Someone whose team works on events, trying to plan large ones in the time of COVID, I highly recommend that, as who knows what it's going to be 3 days from now. So so if that's
we were
okay,
thinking the same, Kim. That's
Yeah.
what I was thinking.
plan
So-
A, B, C, D. So I and just with the physical cost that it will incur to put on an event, I would say that would be something that we would need to do fundraising for. And so I would, my staff opinion is to go ahead and definitely move that to 2022.
Okay, so then we have three ideas. That then we have like the walk, we have the farmers market, community education piece, we have the videos. Do we want to do all of these projects? Do we want to do just one? Do we want to do 2? What are we thinking as a commission?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
So not to be a smart act, I think having a like a booth or like a table at certain events would be good. I think instead of maybe every weekend, we maybe do every other weekend.
We could do that, and we can push them out since when does the farmers market go until? Is it like October?
Mhm.
I'm checking.
I believe so.
So we could do them, move it to every other week. I would want to still do, well, I guess, okay, we'd still do Juneteenth, and then we'd also just table at Albany Pride then. And maybe just have meeting material, like some educational materials as well. So that's what we could probably move it to every other week. I'm not opposed to that. Is everyone cool with that?
Sure.
Stephanie, sorry to ask, is there a fee associated with tabling at the farmer's market, or is it free?
If you're outside the bounds, they have like the public area, you can do it for free. But also if we wanted to be inside the farmer's market area instead of like in front of the courthouse. In front of the courthouse is free. In front of City Hall is free. If we wanted to, be inside, I'm pretty sure I can chat with the farmers market folks and see if they, in kind that to us.
So you have a contact with the farmers market people?
I do.
Why not have that be your first interview?
Potentially. I will have to think about, I will think about my interviews. I'll have to get some, yeah, I didn't even think about that. Okay. So that would be cool. Vaughn, always scheming for an interview. Love it. Okay, so we can do, so I can move this to every other week. If you guys have any other topics you'd want us to discuss, and we can also make them more fluid. So also I'd like to have a subcommittee if we were to do this project. So maybe if 2 other folks wanted to join me in creating materials, I'm happy to create everything if you guys want me to, but I'd also really appreciate help. Robin, you raised your hand. Okay. Anyone else? Would you like to? Okay, Robin and Leslie. Awesome. Okay. Greg, Juan, Miriam, anyone? No?
I'd be willing to help, be a subcommittee or help with the table.
Subcommittee. But tabling will so subcommittee will help come up with materials.
Yeah, I'm gonna be pretty busy with the actual like media side of things, so I don't mind attending events, but as far as subcommittee, I just wouldn't be able to do it.
Okay. So we want to have a subcommittee for this project consisting of Leslie, Robin, and myself, and I'll reach out to Robin and Leslie to schedule a time for us to meet. Unless Greg, do you also want to be in?
Sure.
Or you
I'll be-
Okay.
That
Cool.
constitutes quorum.
Oh,
Sorry.
Just kidding. That constitutes quorum. So, and actually,
Okay.
Greg, you'll be chairing your own subcommittee for your event if we want to move forward with that. So,
They'd be fine. Yes.
okay.
I-
So September 12th is, I think, what we were thinking. Correct? Is that Labor Day weekend?
It's Grandparents' Day, September 12th. And I
When
would-
is Labor Day?
You'll just want to, before a date is selected, you'll just want to double check to see if the park is available.
Yeah, do
Okay. So with a date that's TBD.
They have multiple canopies there, Kim, or is there just one central?
We have the one pavilion, the shelter down there.
Okay. What's the current codes for people bringing food? Is there an issue with that?
That
Nope,
might be
not a,
something you
oh,
want
go
to
ahead.
also do like with your subcommittee. So to
What's
get
that?
get all the details fleshed out with a subcommittee and start getting everything planned out.
Okay.
Um,
People can bring food though, possibly, or is there rules against that with COVID or?
They can, we can bring food. we just need to make sure that all the garbage essentially moves its way out with it. So
Okay. And there's no fee with the pavilion, or is there a fee?
I believe as a city sponsored event, we are able to waive that fee. So we should be good to go.
Okay, great.
Okay, so who would like to be on the subcommittee with Greg? I'm happy to join as well.
Yay.
So Robin would like
Yeah,
to join
sure.
Greg. Um,
I'm going to be very busy this summer. I'll try to help any way I can. I do have some personal issues happening right now in my personal life that I'm dealing with. So yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
okay. So Robin will join. Juan, would you be able to join with Greg?
No,
Okay. All right, so it'll be Robin, myself, and Greg.
but I have no qualms about capturing it, like when
Okay.
the event actually happens.
Okay. And then we have Juan's idea. So I'm assuming we want to move forward with all three of these ideas, correct? Okay. So and then Juan's idea. Do you need a subcommittee for this one? Are you going to reach out to individual members of the HRC to?
My plan was to reach out to individual members of the HRC, have them select somebody within 2 weeks, and then go do the interviews, edit them, and then release them as we go along.
Okay. So Kim, yes.
Juan, did you have a chance to reach out to Matt?
No, it's on my to-do list.
Okay, totally good. He's just the
Yeah.
keeper of our communications game. So I just want to make sure that you two are connected.
Yeah,
It's-
I know. Of like the top people I should be talking to, right?
Yes, he's a gem too. You'll absolutely love him. Okay, so let's go ahead and move over to our next item on the agenda, the presentation for the 2020 annual report. So first, I would need to bring the 2020 annual report to you guys. I can have that for the next HRC meeting, and if that is then, oh, someone's yawning. If you guys all approve of it, then we can move forward with then taking it to the taking it to city council. So I'm thinking we could take it to the July city council meeting, maybe the first week, first city council meeting in July.
I'll have to take a look. I think I'll have to take a look to see if they have space on the agendas there. I can reach back out to you, Steph, on that. As far as the 2020 presentation, since 2020 was a shortened
Sad.
session,
Yeah.
and 2021 has ended up being shortened, would you be interested or consider holding off and doing kind of like a 2021?
Yeah.
Not saying that 2021, not saying that 2020 was a wash, but saving it so that there's a more content with the fresh new bodies.
I think that sounds good. Then that means that works for me. And it would be even greater to even have like the context of like, hey, here's everything that changed. Okay, cool. We'll do that.
If you're okay with it, I think that could be really powerful to say, here's this new group and here's
Totally
everything that
cool with
we've been able to.
Totally cool with that. So we'll just move that then to, I guess, a presentation for February 2022, because then I can have everything done. And after our December meeting in 2021, and then present it to you guys in January 2022. And if it's approved, then we can move forward with presenting it February 2022. If that would work. Cool. Okay. Sweet. I can kick that can down the road. All right. So the Human Relations Award discussion. So every year we do a Human Relations Award for a citizen, a member of the community, and also for an organization or business here in Albany. And we usually seek nominations from January to the mid-February. And we, advertise this threat with news releases and posting on the city's website and social media. But yeah, so we then go through all these nominations and we select people in business for the award, and then we present this award at a city council meeting. So we haven't done this yet this year. Do we want to move forward with doing this presentation, this award presentation this year? Is this something we can? I think we should. I think we should just get through the nominations opened up. But what are you guys all thinking? Don't all jump at once.
What would that entail for us? Like, what do you need from us to be able to get this going? Just to say, yes, let's open it up for nomination?
Yep. And
Okay.
then we already have a process built in within the city
Okay.
for how we seek nominations. We'll have to have the nominations open and advertise that. Yeah, so we already have the whole process of how we do this. And then once everything's submitted, we will all review applications and vote on them. And then whoever would like to attend is able to do like the presentation and of the award at the city council meeting.
I say we open it up. Like, how long should we open it up for? A month or two?
Usually 6 weeks.
Okay. Do we need to vote on it? Do we need to motion it? Do we?
We can definitely have a motion that would make it more official. So if anyone would like to make a motion.
I'll move to open up the nomination process for the HRC award.
Okay, and do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, all right, so Kim, let's go ahead and get that reopened. We get that opened up for the next 6 weeks, or whenever you're able to get it. So let's maybe have it start. What's the date today? The 25th. Do you want to have it go from like June 1st to like July 15th?
Steph, are these candidates that we have to discover or
No, members of the community would then, so it's put out in a news release, put on the city's website, put on the city's social
Okay.
media. We also send over to United Way, Love Inc., and the Chamber of Commerce, and also send news for distribution for their network for distribution through their networks. We can also, share and let people know about it, like if you're talking to members in the community. But we already have ways to advertise it, and then those nominations are then submitted, and then we will be voting and deciding on who would be the recipients.
Okay.
Okay. Sounds good. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get that going. And then to the Skate for Respect update, we have a meeting tomorrow. Kim, did you want to actually talk on this a little bit?
Sure. So we have a meeting tomorrow afternoon to determine what the program out at the skate park will look like. The anticipated date at this point is the afternoon of June 14th. And there's a bunch of stuff that's kind of been throwing around as ideas, but tomorrow will be the opportunity for us to pin things down to see if what we've got. The idea is to have a gathering at the skate park to kind of reaffirm it as a safe space after the bias crime that took place last month. So APD is hoping to have some presence out there and to be handing out some stickers. We hope to be able to put up a banner or signage about how to report a crime or a bias incident, and maybe some additional affirming language. The thought is to potentially eventually at this point this summer do a mural out there that's positive. The city of Bellevue, Washington apparently has a very popular Instagram worthy skateboard policeman that knows our chief. And so he will be coming down, and apparently when he comes down, sometimes he also comes with sponsored gear and giveaways. So lot of loose ideas at this point. The NAACP, is I think going to attend to see how maybe they can help support. So yeah, we have our next meeting tomorrow. Hopefully we'll be able to tie everything together. It won't be a large event because we're still in high risk capacity at this point. So with COVID, we have a 15% capacity as to what that space can hold, which is like 47 people in the non-competitive part of the concrete, in the non-bowl area. And so just trying to figure out what that looks like. And yeah, if anybody's interested, let me know. I'll send you the Zoom link if you want to join in and provide some comments.
I have a question about that, Kim. And this is me putting in my equity lens hat. So if we're limiting the amount of people that are going to be coming in, that's going to limit the people that want to come in and actually support this. I'm just thinking this is going to be very selective. I mean, I don't like it that it's like that, because I feel that the people should be able to have the opportunity to come to this and not limited to an amount, like a number, because then you're telling people, no, you can't come in, because you're going to be keeping track of who is going to be coming in, and that's selective, and I don't like that. I don't
Totally
know if
fair.
I mean, I don't know if anybody can see what I'm seeing, but as a brown woman, I go to this and then they tell me, no, you can't come in because we're max capacity. I'm going to be mad because I'm here showing my support and you're telling me I can't be there, even though this is a community event. Do you see what I'm seeing?
Oh, no, completely. And I think that's something that we need to be aware of. It's
That's making it a like having like a video message where it's like a message from like the mayor, or where it's not just like a event that's limited to like one day, where we'd have different things that would happen, throughout like over several weeks. So definitely something we're discussing. Do you want to remind, if anyone wants to attend, what is the time tomorrow? Is it 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock?
Hold on. But yeah, Miriam, I'm right there with you. And that's something that I think we need to take a look at. And that's why we talked maybe about doing a campaign instead of, that's why I'm even hesitant to call it an event.
Because I mean, if we're talking about equity, let's not just say it, let's do it, because then people are going to hold us accountable saying you're all for equity. You know what equity is. This is not equitable. And I am someone that will call out these type of things because this is not equitable. I mean, the other thing is too, is this something that's going to be also in Spanish? That has to be equitable. So now you're going to be telling people that speak Spanish, you can't be here because we're at max capacity. To me, this just calls for not a very equitable thing. And for me, if we're going to say what we preach, we better freaking do it.
And if that's the case, like I said, I'm totally right there with you. COVID ties our hands a lot of respect. So
okay, I understand that, but then you have pride. You're not going to have a limit of people that are going to be there. So you have an event that it's pride. You're not going to limit the amount of people that are going to be there, but you are at this other event that it's supposed to be about bias. Do you see the difference there and how unequitable it is and how unjust it is? It's okay to have a pride event going on with no matter who can be there, but it's not when about something like this that is about an important issue that needs to be addressed in the community. I'm sorry, but that is where I stand with that.
So I understand the complaint, but what's the solution?
Don't limit it. Don't limit it.
I think we might have to be, because it's a city sponsored event and Pride is not a city sponsored event.
So it's not a function of the space, the perimeter of the space or anything. It's just a function of who the sponsor is.
The fact that it'll take place on city property.
Yeah.
That it is in our skate park. It is a managed drop-in, non-monitored space. So it can spill out into the park. But I just, for the reasons why I think it would be great to have the festival next year, it's the same thing that we're kind of running into, is that I just need to be responsible on the city side and say, here are the parameters that we're able to work within. And this is definitely something I'll bring up with the group tomorrow, and Steph can too. Maybe it's not an event in this capacity. Maybe it is the mayor releasing a statement and us putting it out. Maybe on the 14th, it's just the Bellevue policemen coming down and skateboarding and APD handing out stickers, and we continue to do events throughout the summer. I am totally right there with you. I 100% agree. I just, unfortunately, with it being a city sponsored event on city property, we are going to be tied to OHA guidelines, which at this point in high risk still limits us to 15% capacity.
So does it have to be sponsored by the city?
It will be still on city property.
But look at what they were doing in front of the courthouse. Isn't that part of the city too? Like when you gather in front of the courthouse and you have those gatherings, isn't that part of the court? Isn't that part of the city, or is that just an invisible barrier that I don't see, that it doesn't belong to the city? I'm just trying to understand.
Oh no, and I know that we did not permit that event, so I am not sure how that works.
So you can just show up, have a rally without a permit, without nothing, have hundreds of people there, but on this event that is planned, you have to limit it. I think you already know what I'm gonna say.
Kim, did you have the time for the event, for the meeting tomorrow?
4 to 4:30.
Miriam, would you be able to attend?
No, I have work to do during that time.
Okay.
But I
I
think
will
you can
definitely
let them
recognize
know
them.
my concerns.
Absolutely.
I think you guys will be able to do that. I mean, if this conversation is recorded, worst case scenario, they can see what I just said, word by word.
I agree. I know it's been an issue that we've already discussed, trying to figure out how can we make this more accessible to everyone. At least we're discussing tomorrow. Okay, so moving on to our next item agenda, which is the event debrief, any upcoming events, the HRC calendar. Something I noticed needs to be removed from the HRC calendar is a Midsummer Arts Festival that's no longer happening this year. So that can be removed, Gabe, whenever you have a moment. But are there any other upcoming events that we'd like to get added? I think that maybe have every single event for the sorry, my Wood says the hiccups, and it's hilarious. Have the events for the tabling events at the farmers market. Gabe, I can email over those dates to you. But are there any other events that have happened, or any debriefs for events you guys have attended? Robin, you are muted.
Who sponsors the night out, National Night Out? Is that a local group that does that, or is it a National Night Out group? Or?
So I put on the National Night Out for my community, but I'm also the neighborhood watch captain. So I believe it just does come
from neighborhood watches.
Yeah, and but also I feel like they put out, the APD puts out the date as well. I know that they like to make rounds, and so does the fire department. When we register your National Night Out event. 2 years ago we had Cesar, the No Drama alum, at ours. It was very fun. Okay, so hearing that we don't have any other upcoming events or any other items to add to the calendar, let's go ahead and move on to the highlights from this meeting. I think we can all agree that determining the events that we want to move forward with is the major highlight. Anything else you guys would like to highlight for the 2020-2021 annual report? Also, he's awake. Sorry. I have to. I'm obligated. Anything else anyone would like to add? All right, hearing none, let's go ahead and move forward with business from the commission. I have 2 items I wanted to bring to the commission. One is, Kim, it looks like on the Albany HRC webpage, it has language from our old charter. So if we can get that updated with new language, it'd be fab. And then the other item that I have, Miriam and I, we both spoke with City Councilor Gabe Shepherd from the City of Corvallis. And he wanted to bring this to the HRC. So I'll read it to you. The background is, at the request of members of the community, the Corvallis City Council has budgeted $150,000 for the fiscal year for 2020-2021 to support a bias response initiative. The goals of this initiative are to determine ways to better respond to non-criminal acts of bias in our community and determine where there are gaps in services and how to coordinate existing work and resources in this work to better serve the community members in our region. In establishing the funding for this effort, the Corvallis City Council stressed a desire to work in partnership with other communities and agencies. After communicating with neighboring communities through the City Manager Network and the Oregon Cascade West Council of Government, Corvallis heard support for exploring a regional approach to this initiative. Corvallis is inviting neighboring communities in the Mid-Willamette Valley to participate in this initiative at a regional level, led by the Oregon Cascade West Council of Government. The request is to explore ideas and options, as well as uncover existing actions and resources that might be shared. The funding for this initial effort will come from the City of Corvallis, so from that $150,000 pot. So their ask is to, so they said, we're asking the Albany Human Relations Commission recommend, so to our City Council, that the City of Albany support Oregon Cascade West Council of Government leading this regional discussion, and that the City of Albany would join in on this effort and send a letter of support to the Executive Board of the Oregon Cascade West Council of Government. So by way of this, we would be involved and also, be able to support and do things throughout Albany and elsewhere in the Mid-Willamette Valley for this bias response initiative. So is this something that everyone here would be interested in supporting? And if I can get a motion. Or do we want to have some discussion first? Let's go ahead and have some discussion first.
Yeah. Can you read the, I guess, our mission statement one more time?
Yes, and actually, let me just share my screen. So, do you want me to read it, or are you able to read it?
I got it.
Okay.
Do you mind if I read it out loud?
Go for it.
The goals of this initiative are to determine ways to better respond to non-criminal acts of bias in our community and determine where there are gaps in services and how to coordinate existing work and resources in this work to better serve the community members in our region. Better respond to non-criminal acts of bias in our community. The city of Corvallis must be doing pretty well. They got 150 grand to throw at this, and they're not asking for a donation or soliciting funds from the city.
No.
We just had okay. Yeah. What's their tax rate over there? Anyways, doesn't matter. Better respond to non-criminal acts of bias in our community. One of the concerns of some of the council members is that that the HRC is to avoid kind of pillaring people. I don't know. It's just something about this is like, what are you guys trying to do here? But maybe I'm just interpreting it wrong.
So this would be us recommending that the Albany City Council get involved. It's up to them whether they'd like to delegate it back to us.
When it's put that way, sure. But I'm thinking about the guy that told me to go back to Mexico on, on Facebook. What an asshole. But if something like that were to occur, would a bias response initiative? I'm just trying to imagine.
So I'm
Like,
not.
what is this actually requesting?
So I'm not 100% sure, but I know that Gabe would be willing to speak with you. I can give you his contact information with the city of Corvallis. And I know that he'd love to meet with anyone that has any questions.
Yeah, a good example would be just an example, of where this initiative has been used in other jurisdictions or whatever, these types of things.
Yeah,
Have
a
a-
bit of clarity would be nice.
So with this, so just a quick question, does City of Corvallis have an HRC themselves?
I don't know off the top of my head. I feel like they would.
Can we
I
have
thought
a
they-
bowling? Or
Let me look.
Okay, I'm just thinking because if this makes me believe that they don't because they're coming to us because
They're going to,
we're,
I apologize. Go ahead.
well, I'm just wondering, I think as neighboring city, it would be good to support one another. I think if they are able to implement and create a procedure on how to make these response, I think I'm definitely for it. I'm just curious to know if they do have an HRC and if there's a way to collaborate if they do have one.
It looks like, according to us, they have the Budget Commission, Historic Resources Commission, Planning Commission, Urban Renewal Agency, Budget Commission. That is it. But they're also working. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I did some research back in February, and it looked like they had a community involvement and diversity advisory board through the city. So I'll pull up their website and see if I see anything. Not sure if it's still active.
So
it's actually super interesting.
Yeah, it is. And but it's not just Albany they're working with. I know they reached out to Philomath and other communities. So it's really a effort throughout the entire Mid-Valley. It's not just Albany. It's not just. So they just want to know if we're game in recommending this to Albany City Council to support Oregon Cascade West Council of Government in leading this regional discussion.
Well, I trust the city councilors. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can take this to the next city council meeting, possibly, Kim? Or I'm happy to take it to the next city council meeting, or whoever would like to take it.
Yep, it would need to be in for the first one in June, because tomorrow is already rolling along. So yeah, I can work with you, Stephanie, on a date that we would need a recommendation.
Okay, sounds good. And also, Kim, will you please share Gabe's Councilor Gabe Shepard from City of Corvallis? Will you share his email address with everyone and encourage them to reach out if they have any questions or would like to chat with him about this? Okay, and then is there anything else? Is there any other business from the commission?
One thing.
Okay.
For the Pride event, just again some clarification. The people who will be attending, will there be like a table for us, or are we just like marching along? I'm interested in the event, and would someone who's been before, if they could describe it to me.
So Kim was going to send out an email with more information. I've been since the inception. It's a lot of fun. It's a great family-friendly event. But there'll be some tabling, but I think there'll be some other volunteering opportunities as well that Kim will let us know about. So further information and I believe sign up of like times that we might want to be there.
Cool. I just don't want to miss it.
Perfect. I'll make sure you don't. Okay. So any other business from the commission? Okay.
Jeff, just,
Go ahead.
as far as like the subcommittee, do we have to organize our own meetings on our own, or how does that work exactly? I've never done that.
Yeah, great question. So yes, so you would reach out to, so if you're a subcommittee, you'll reach out to Robin and myself and coordinate a time. This isn't something that, since we aren't quorum, we could meet, you know, in a coffee shop or at a park or on a Zoom call and start getting things fleshed out.
Okay, great. Can Kim also be involved as well, since she's well versed in these projects?
I may be able to participate a little bit, but unfortunately I'm not able to do a ton of additional work on it just because of time restraints. I apologize. But get me in on the first one, and then hopefully I'll share whatever knowledge or resources that I have. And then I know you guys are totally capable. You got it.
Thank you, Kim.
Okay, so Kim, with that note, do we want to move over to staff updates?
Perfect. So good news. At our last meeting, we had a conversation about Zoom. As you can see, we're no longer on Microsoft Teams. We're on Zoom. So victory number 1.
Woohoo.
Victory number 2 is I brought up closed captioning. And so starting in June, there will be a statement that will go on all agendas talking about how to pull up closed captioning. And if we want, as a group, we can mention that at the beginning of each meeting as a reminder. So yeah, that language is being fleshed out and trying to figure out how to make it happen. And when we brought it up, they were like, yeah, that's a great idea. Thanks, HRC. So see, checking stuff off. Another one is that I wanted to provide you, we got information about the SNAP program for the farmers market. So trying to figure out if the HRC can help spread the word that, sorry, I'm pulling it up. For those who work with SNAP, eligible households, they'll have double up food bucks posters and flyers if we have space for them. So just making sure that people really know that they can come to the farmers market and that their SNAP dollars can go far and get them and support.
Will we have
local
those
business.
flyers in a bilingual format?
I can connect with Rebecca Landis. Is that who you're working with, Steph, for tabling?
Yep.
If you wouldn't mind reaching out to her and asking for the materials when you reach out to her to schedule the booth, that would be awesome. I would hope that they're going to be bilingual.
I mean, that just sounds like an awesome opportunity, especially for, you know, people in need getting access to fresh food. All for it.
Yes, absolutely. I think the limit is $20, right, for matchback?
I believe so.
So you get $20. You have $20 in SNAP, and you get $20 in additional tokens from.
Actually, I see their press release, but it doesn't look like it is in Spanish. So, but I would imagine they have one. So, Steph, are you able to reach out to them to get those?
Yeah, I'll actually just text her.
Oh, even better.
Yes. Okay, perfect. All right. So if that is everything, our next.
And then I did.
Oh, go ahead.
I apologize. I have one last thing.
Okay.
So in an effort not to slow down communication, I want to go ahead and clarify something that I mentioned at the last meeting about reply all and having conversations via email. With that said, if you're interested in sharing information, you can send it out to folks, but it can't require discussion, anything like that. But if you're saying, hey, if somebody would like to go to an event on this date, I want to let you all know about it. You're more than welcome to send that out to the HRC folks. We just can't have further discussion or any action resulting from it. So I just want to let you know. So as things are crazy, I don't want me to cause a backup if I'm not able to send something out in quick enough time. So I just want to make sure that you all are empowered to know you can share information as long as it is an info blast and not anything that is participatory or has to do with an agenda item or anything like that.
Perfect.
Is there a single email that would act as like a blast, like for example, you know, HRC commissioners at
So
City
yes,
of
there
Albany?
is, but it doesn't work for external email addresses to email it. So only internal City of Albany email addresses can email that Human Relations Commission email address. I know it's infuriating. And I discovered this and I kept trying to email it. And then I was like, no one's getting my emails.
But if you reply all when it's sent out, like for your agenda, take out the agenda information, but you can keep, save those addresses in there. And if you save that as your own group, you should be good to go.
Yes.
I know it's antiquated. It sounds absolutely crazy. But you do theoretically have all of the addresses. It's just a matter of not sending it attached to an agenda.
And we have everyone's phone numbers as well. I believe that we had all that like in our little internal spreadsheet, right?
And if you all feel comfortable, I'm more than happy to share that internal spreadsheet with members, so that way you have each other's contact information.
I think that you already shared it with us because we had to reach out to everyone for city council to reach out to people.
That is correct.
Yes.
I can reshare it.
Excellent. Okay. All right. So our next meeting is Tuesday, June 22nd, 7 p.m. via Zoom, most likely. If there isn't anything else, I move that we are adjourned. Woods thinks so too. But yeah. So, all right. Well, everyone have a great evening.
Have a good night, everybody.
Dude, thank you.
Yep.
I think that went well.